morning or good afternoon, whatever it might be when you're watching it. This is the Cecil County Master Gardeners, and we're here to do a Baywise certification on a yard. And what Baywise is, it's a program that evaluates landscaping and yard practices to see if it's healthy, the practices are healthy to support the Chesapeake Bay. Most of us in Maryland live very close to the bay, and what we do in our yard affects the health of our environment. So here we are with the Baywise tool. It's what it is a tool to help measure and evaluate this yard here. There's a number of areas that we will be focusing on today to see how this yard performs. All right, the Baywise yardstick brochure lists all of the inches, which if you get 36 of them, which is 36 inches in a yard, will give you the Baywise certification.
The first area is control of stormwater runoff.
The first section is controlling the water runoff. Around your house, it's got 10 points in this section, and you will notice that I have 4 rain spouts on the front of my home on the street side. I have 2 at the garage, and around the rest of it, I probably have at least 2 more. All right, to direct the rain spouts away from the house, we buried them. I wasn't into QVC, I was into PVC. I put them down the side, put the corners, and buried them in the ground. On that side, there's a dip in the ground, so I put a little garden flag, and the water goes back into the ground. The water goes back into a garden. The water may go across a walkway, but it still goes into the ground. Flag is where the rain spout comes out. See this? Under the ground, rain spout. Just so we don't lose the water.
So Mary, what's key and wonderful here is the downspout is way away from your house and it's draining into the garden. It's not draining into the driveway. It needs to be in a non-impervious area, and she's done a wonderful job in this landscape in that aspect. So,
well, pet waste I clean up all the time, but I don't let her really do around here. We go down the road, we go in the woods, we're good.
So her garden has a lot of really nice ground cover, which is wonderful. It retains moisture, and there's no erosion or runoff here, which is wonderful. And so the ground covers are great. Good amount of mulch, not excessive mulch.
I haven't used mulch in a couple of years.
So natural mulching. So really what you've done is natural, which is wonderful. That's what we want to see.
The second area is encourage wildlife.
So why don't you talk to us about how you encourage wildlife in your garden?
I'll show you that too. I encourage the hummingbirds. I really haven't done too much with them this year. We usually get tons of them, but I love the hummingbirds, and I sit out here with cats a lot. All right, I encourage the pollinators. This is a Shasta daisy bush. They're all in that. They're all in my hydrangeas, and this is supposed to be about 6 different varieties of clematis. With regards to habitat, well, I've been here 30-some-odd years, and I've got bird feeders up. When I first came, this whole row was full of trees, and we trimmed the bottom branches, and we hung all the bird feeders and houses up there. But you'll see when you get to that bird feeder that there's a big hole in the forsythia. Well, you sit here long enough, and the big fat groundhog comes up, and then all the raccoons show up, and this one goes crazy.
The third area is protect the waterfront.
Protecting the waterfront is another section, 7 points out of this one. Low maintenance, no mow vegetation. Well, I put vinca vine all on the edges. Now, I mean, years ago with the forsythia, you know, it was lower and maintained, and it looked a lot better. But there's a back road here that's open to the public for birding and walking. It's a 1/4 mile down, and you get to the river, the Sassafras River.
The fourth area is mow properly and water efficiently.
The next section is to mow properly and water efficiently. I've got a push mower.
So the thing is, when you're mowing, you're not mowing too low because you can tell.
No,
Because
no,
if you mowed it
nothing
really
below
low, your
3.5.
lawn would be burned up right now.
Yeah, nothing below 3.5.
Okay.
And
That's great.
and I do it every 2 weeks.
That's great.
I don't mow every week
Right.
because I don't think it needs it, and I
Right.
want to leave the grass on it,
Exactly.
and I don't want big clumps.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
Now, do you irrigate at all, or you just use natural rainwater?
I don't irrigate any of this. I've got hoses down here, but I don't water the lawn. Don't look it.
No, maybe that's wonderful. Do you do any watering of your flower beds or anything like that?
Yeah, I do that. This side gets scorching hot, and I even had tomato plants and basil and all that on the deck, even under the awning, and it just, in July, it was just scorching them, so I had to move them.
So what time of day do you typically water?
Morning, just morning.
The fifth area is manage yard pests with integrated pest management.
So, for pest management, how do you handle that, pest management in your garden?
Well, this year I didn't do anything, and I thought maybe before I took this class, maybe I had enough on it, so I didn't put anything out, milky spore, anything. But I really believe that I need to do that because the grubs are under here, and I don't want Japanese beetles eating everything.
But it sounds like you minimize. You minimize.
Oh, I do minimize.
Types of things and try to be very minimalist. So do you do a handful, a lot of weeds in your garden?
Ah! Here we go. That's where we stopped.
So you're using that as
I'm out here 7:30 in the morning.
So as opposed to chemicals, you're trying to handful.
Oh, I don't do any chemicals on the weeds.
That's wonderful.
No.
The sixth area is mulch appropriately and recycle yard waste.
All right, as far as mulch goes, that's the next section. That's got 7 points. I have not mulched my yard for at least 4 years. Because even when we were taking this class, they said if you mulch your lawn, the water is absorbed with the mulch and it doesn't really get into the roots of the plants. So I just stopped doing mulch.
What do you use for mulch? Like under trees and in your
Well,
garden?
the only good thing that I do have is pine needles.
So you use
Because-
your natural
Yeah.
materials.
Yeah, because there's pine trees all down here. Next door, she's got a whole thing of them. So I just take a dustpan and broom, and I scoop up some pine needles, put them in a bag. But I don't put them out till fall, really. You know.
The seventh area is fertilize wisely.
Anyway, it's slow release fertilizer, and I put that in pots.
Osmocote.
Osmocote. Osmocote. Yeah, that's what I have. I don't use really any Miracle Grow or anything like that. It's so scorching hot out here, and it really scorches a lot of stuff. So I don't do any of that. Well, I leave the grass cuttings out here, but I don't want any pet weeds, so I don't really do too much with any of that.
The eighth area is plant wisely.
I love your black-eyed Susans. They're native. They're wonderful for your yard.
Yeah. I've got cornflowers, dogwood, honeysuckle. Right there's a blazing star. I've got a bunch of stuff in here, but you can't really tell. This is a blazing star, and it's got a blue flower on it. And I want to say that was in May or June. I think it grows big enough for a bush. I'm not sure. Oh, that's a native plant.
Oh, okay.
early spring camellia. I have 2 of them on both sides of the garage.
So now it's time to tally up the inches and see how Mary did.
Mary, thank you so much for the tour of your beautiful yard. And I want to let you know that on the Baywise yardstick that you have achieved 44 inches. So congratulations. You needed 36
Thank you, hon.
to get the certification.
Thank you.
Congratulations. And just as a little review on the stormwater runoff, you got almost every single inch for a total of 7 inches. For Purge Wildlife, the same thing, 5 inches. Also protecting the waterfront, you had 7 inches, every single one. Mowing, you do a fantastic job with your push mower, so you have 7 points. And managing yard pests, again, almost every point for 4. Mulching, also 4 points. Fertilize wisely, that's excellent that you really haven't fertilized at all this year, so you got 6 points. And planting wisely for animals and native insects and all, you got 4 points. And the last one
was planting wisely.
yeah, so a total of 44 points. So thank you very much for allowing us to come and do your yard.
Thank you for coming.
We'll be getting the sign, and we wanted to also let you know that if you had not gotten your 36 inches, you would be looking at this. We would be looking at this together with you, and looking at some areas where you might be able to add some features, some practices to your yard, and you might also want to continue to carry out these practices. But you're doing a fantastic job. Congratulations.
Right, and I look at this as a continuous improvement tool. Even though you had 44 inches, which is awesome, there's still more to go.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a great tool to kind of continue to build on what you've already achieved. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Great job.
So Mary is now the proud owner of a Baywise yard sign. This has been brought to you by the Cecil County Master Gardeners.